All right, this is gonna be a fun video today. It's gonna be the top 15 characters to take to blue ISO-5 after you have a big boy apocalypse. And this was a video idea that was sent to me on Discord by EAP. And you gotta take 23 characters to blue ISO-5 to get a big boy apocalypse, which is gonna be the 4 horsemen and the horseman teams, and then the 3 Marvel Strike Force exclusive characters. Well, there's 4 now, but the 3 specific for Apocalypse are going to be Weaver, Kestrel, and Deathpool. So I've got a list put together here, and in general, I have favored characters that I can use in my arena: Cosmic Crucible, Alliance War, and Dark Dimension 6. And then depending on the difficulty of Incursion 2, this might also bleed into raids. We'll have to see where that goes with the raids. It was just launched yesterday. So we're going to go over this list, and it's in no particular order. We're going to start with Kang. I'm a big fan of Kang. I did take Kang into Dark Dimension 6. Of course, he's useful in Crucible and Alliance War. And I also have the opinion that Kang will be good for a long time just because of this first line of his passive. On offense, fill speed bar by 5% for self and all allies. And that seems to be a big deal in turn-based games, specifically in Marvel Strike Force, because we don't have mods that have speed stats or anything like that. ISO doesn't affect speed. So this is just a very helpful and useful mechanic, specifically if you're trying to do a mirror match situation. You could throw Kang on your offensive team and maybe have the upper hand. Next on the list, Apocalypse. You just got to do it. Second best character in the game, also makes Dark Dimension 6 much easier. Dark Dimension 6 was tuned with Apocalypse in mind. You just got to do it. Take him to Gear Tier 18. Take him to Blue ISO 5. It's not a thing. He's the second best character in the game. Run, don't walk, just do it. Now, we've got Dormammu, and I did not take Dormammu to Gear Tier 18. I did not take Dormammu into Dark Dimension 6, mostly because of his cost and because he is Mystic. There's just so many good Mystic characters, and it becomes a challenge with resource allocation. And even though Dormammu is an amazing character, I couldn't justify taking him to Gear Tier 18, but I could absolutely justify taking him to Blue ISO 5. He's still very good. There are many kits right now are coming out with anti-revive once mechanics, which is kind of what Dormammu was originally famous for. And he also has a charge mechanic, and they're going to probably continue to come out with anti-charge mechanics as well. But I think I'm going to love Dormammu for a long time. Stun plus trauma is always good. He gains the charge mechanic, and the beauty of the charge mechanic is that when enemies take a turn when he's charged, flip all positive effects to negative effects and apply 2 bleed to that enemy, which is amazing, specifically with Undying. Love Dormammu. Very happy I took him to Blue ISO 5. Next, we have Nova. Yeah! I mean, I took him into DD6, Gear Tier 18. He's legendary, and all of the new legendaries, we're talking about the post Apocalypse legendaries, which is going to be Black Cat, Nova, and Green Goblin, are on this list. They're just great, and I think they are amazing candidates for Blue ISO 5, Gear Tier 18. Yes, yes, yes. Of course, where he shines is going to be in War. Only second character in the game that has a battlefield effect. So Red Hulk has the battlefield effect, and Nova has a battlefield effect. Not as detrimental or impactful, if you will, as Red Hulk, but it can counteract it, right? So it's kind of a big deal. I've been getting a lot of use out of Nova. Specifically, my focus right now in the game is Cosmic Crucible and Alliance War, and yes, Nova is very good in those 2 game modes as a plug-and-play character. Next is Icarus. So this is kind of up to you, but I'm finding that Icarus is still holding relevance in this game, mostly because of his ultimate, which also is similar to that of Cersei. You got to run them together. But Turn Me to Remind is just a big deal. Reduce speed bar for all enemies by 25%. And if he can kill somebody on the other side, he double taps. So I'm finding it important for him to not only have, a diamond and then also go to blue ISO-5. He's a little bit lower on the list. I do think Cersei and Icarus have been dominant for a long time, and I think they will continue to have some value, but they are being power crept. It's just the way the game works. This is a little bit lower on the list, like I said at the beginning of the video, that this is in no particular order, but I did take Icarus to blue ISO-5 and I've been very happy with it. Next, we've got Vol. Now, Vol got use out of Vol in Dark Dimension 6. I do get Vol, good use out of Vol on defense and Alliance War. Not so much inside of Cosmic Crucible. And going forward, I think Vol is going to be very important in raids. One other thing about Vol that I think is interesting is that Vol and Super Scroll both have the exposed mechanic. And if more characters come to the game with the exposed mechanic, then it may become an exposed team of some sort to get the maximum value out of Super Scroll and Vol. We will have to see. I'm not really sure, but I did take Vol to blue ISO-5, and I've been happy with that. Spider-Man 2099. This is super low on the list, but Weaver already has blue ISO-5 because Weaver was one of the characters for Apocalypse, and I did take 2099 into Dark Dimension 6. It was 2099 was okay. I mean, mostly that particular node inside of DD6, the city node, was about Robbie Reyes, who is 1000% going to be on this list. And I find that Spider-Man 2099 is more of a kit-based character than a damage dealer. So this one is completely optional. Like, this one is super low on the list. Like, if you don't want to do 2099, I get it. I did it only because of Weaver, only because of my inclusion with 2099 into Dark Dimension 6. Also, I just love 2099, the character from Into the Spider-Verse's movie. So there's that too. Sometimes you just have favorites just because, right? Black Cat. This is a no-brainer. So I'm just going to put this out there. Any of the characters that I'm currently using in Arena all got blue ISO-5. I mean, that's going to be one of the sources for power cores, and doing well in the arena is important. Now, the arena right now is mostly about who has Super Scroll and who does not have Super Scroll. So it's a thing, but I do think having my entire team at blue ISO-5 and gear tier 18 maxed out is important on arena teams, because I do prioritize arena, then raids, and we're gonna have to see. And this is to be determined with the new Incursion 2 that just came out yesterday, like how much of our raid teams are going to have to upgrade to keep up with what our alliance wants to do. That remains to be seen. But as far as importance and of interest to me, it's going to be Arena, Cosmic Crucible, Alliance War. And raid is probably right around in the same amount of importance of Cosmic Crucible, maybe a little bit more important. I mean, I actually probably more important. Probably Arena, raids, and then so on. So that's just kind of the priority. Now, Black Cat is good everywhere. Like, just one of the best characters in the game without a doubt. And also, I think Black Cat is going to be plug and play character, but Black Cat's getting use in every single game mode. Black Cat's amazing. Ghost Rider Ryby. Oh boy, I just want to say that Ghost Rider Ryby has turned out to be the superstar, kind of like the big surprise must have for Dark Dimension 6 City, Blue ISO-5's no-brainer, Arena team. The bleeds on this guy are over the top. I've gone back and forth between Striker and Raider, and the bleeds are just so impactful that I've been enjoying the Striker. Let's keep going. Quicksilver. Okay. I was running Quicksilver inside of the arena at one point. He's absolutely amazing in Cosmic Crucible, and I'm getting a high degree of use out of him inside of Alliance War. Quicksilver is just proving to be an amazing plug-and-play character. Great in Dark Dimension 6. And I just want to point this out, though. Remember when we first got Quicksilver, we were like, is this guy any good? And how he was very mediocre at low stars. So I just want to put this out there. I wonder if Quicksilver is going to fade away a little bit more quickly than some other characters like Kang. Because I would distinctly remember always thinking Kang was amazing, but I remember thinking that Quicksilver was not that good until I started getting the yellow stars, until I started getting the red stars, and then I was like, wow, this guy's the best. So I wonder if that is that he's only good when he's doing damage, and if his damage falls off because power creep, maybe he's not going to hold up. Anyways, still think he's an amazing character, and I have no regrets in taking him to Blue ISO-5. Photon. I don't know if I needed to take Photon to Blue ISO-5, but I don't think it's a bad choice. I do get use out of Photon inside of Alliance War. Okay, in Crucible, actually, Photon sometimes gets left off the team. I did use Photon in Dark Dimension 6, and I think that was great. But I don't use Photon in the arena. Got Kitty Cat there in the corner. You see Kitty Cat wants to say hi. So, you know, this is going to be a lower priority than others. I do like Photon with A-Force inside of Alliance War. I do like Photon paired up with Secret Defenders everywhere, but oftentimes Photon is the first one to get pulled off of the team, unfortunately. So this is going to be a lower priority over some of the other Secret Defenders. Dr. Doom! I love Dr. Doom. I want to upgrade this guy even more. The reason why Dr. Doom is important is mostly because when he drops below 50%, he gets speed bar. Then he gets ability energy when that happens too. So if he gets pushed below 50%, this fills speed bar by 300% for self and the ally with the highest damage is amazing and will scale for a long time to come. I mean, right now I'm using this with Apocalypse, right? But it can be used with other characters too. Whatever the next Apocalypse is going to be, Super Scroll or the next Super Scroll, this is going to be good. I said this right at the beginning with Kang, is that this is a turn-based game, and speed bar or turn meter manipulation is going to carry characters for a longer period of time, and that's why I'm a big fan of Kang. And 6 months ago, I was not really feeling Dr. Doom, let's say, but I'm feeling Dr. Doom today, and it comes down to this. Even if he does no damage, giving 300% speed bar to a Kang or an Apocalypse or a Super Scroll or something is just amazingly good. And I think Doom is going to have a place in this game for a long time. This issue with speed bar is important, and that's also one of the reasons why I'm still a fan over the Eternals. And the Eternals have been out for a minute, right? And I think they're going to continue to be good just because of their ability to reduce turn meter. Each one of them 25% down, 25% down. Next, Ms. Marvel Hard Light, Arena Team, Secret Defenders. Her kit it was designed around Apocalypse, right? She's kind of like an anti-Apocalypse, you know, because Apocalypse goes into that super basic. Well, Miss Marvel's gonna taunt and you know, take it. Some cases she can absorb it, but in other cases, you know, she's the one that gets deleted instead of another character very important, Loved her in Dark Dimension 6. Love her in Arena. Love her in all game modes. This is a no-brainer. Big fan of Ms. Marvel, Hard Light. Super Skrull, best character in the game. Yeah, it's just that simple. Best character in the game. So yeah, you got to take Super Skrull to Gear Tier 18 Blue ISO-5. There's just no question. This is not a hard decision right here. And then Juggernaut Zombie. Now, this is one that may not be super obvious, but I'm super glad that I did. And this has to do with Blue ISO-5 having a drain mechanic on it. Right here, let's go look at Fortifier, Blue ISO-5. And when you go from 4 to 5, if this character has barrier, gain 40% drain. I am finding that makes a relatively, well, I don't have a 7/7 zombie Juggernaut, right? I have a 4/4 zombie Juggernaut. And if I wasn't going to do Blue ISO-5, I don't know if I would have done Fortifier. But if I'm going to do Fortifier, go all the way to Blue ISO-5, because then you get the drain, which is a big deal because survivability of zombie Juggernaut kind of matters so that he can get the charges. Because once he gets to 5 charges, then he can revive. So it is a little bit of a game to keep him alive. And the Fortifier and then the Blue ISO-5 Fortifier at, with the drain at Blue ISO-5 helps his sustainability a lot. And oftentimes he's surviving long enough to get those charges so that he can get a revive. He doesn't have the resiliency of Zombie Iron Man because he's about damage and he does so much damage. And then the last character on the list right here is Green Goblin Classic. Working on it. You can see I'm working on it. And before we wrap up the video, and this is gonna be the last character, I think this is a no-brainer, Green Goblin Classic. I don't think we've fully realized how great he is yet until we get, more yellow stars, more red stars. The vent is running right now. So I'm having a bigger problem with Blue ISO-4. Look at that, 100,000, and I've got 19 million Blue ISO-5. Am I the only person that's having this problem? What is going on, Scoplay? We need more Blue ISO-4. Fix your game. All right, let me know what you think in the comment section. If I missed something, put it down there. I'm sure I missed something. This is just my list. Bye for now.